Hello, longtime HS1 fans. How are you guys doing? Let's go back to the basics today. Back in the day, I used to do a lot of ghost stories. From 23 true scary ghost stories from the internet to 44 true scary ghost stories from Reddit. There was such a bunch of them. But in the wilds, I've been losing that and doing more true scary horror stories instead. Let's go back to the basics now. From true, scary, strange voices in the woods to creepy encounters with strange phone calls. Grab a blanket, turn off your lights for 5 truly terrifying ghost stories.
Something in the woods tried to lure me and my friends to it. Signed up for Reddit just so I could share this. It seems as though other people have experienced similar things. I wanted to tell my story. It happened when I was 10 years old. There was 5 or 6 of us spending the night at my friend C's house. Her parents own a ranch in the hill country region of Texas, and their home was built on top of a hill. Other than the dirt driveway up to their house, the hill was wild land covered in cheddar trees. It was a clear, slightly chilly night in maybe October or November. It's been a few years since I was 10, so bear with me, I don't really remember. But after the sun went down, the moon was out, so we stayed out playing hide and seek, using the driveway as base. Their ranch was far out of town enough, and well fenced, so our parents didn't have a problem with it. Anyways, during one round of hide and seek, me and my friend G were the last 2 hidden, so we were good at hiding and avoiding the seeker, that the seeker found everyone else, or so we thought, and enlisted them to help find us. We had almost made it back to the road when the 3 of the girls unknowingly cut us off, and we dug down behind a ridge of dirt to remain concealed. G chucked a rock across the road behind them to divert their attention. We were waiting for them to get far enough off the road to make a dramatic rush for the safety of base, when I heard what sounded like a rock getting dislodged and sliding down the hill behind us. I thought G might have done it, so I didn't say anything, but she kinda looked at me and asked if I was okay. I was about to reply when we heard what sounded like one of our friends, C, the one whose house we were staying at, calling from way down the hill behind us. "Help me!" We bolted straight up and yelled for the others. They came running back to the road, and we told them what we had heard. No one had seen C since we had started that round of hide and seek. We took them to the spot where we had hidden from them and called out C's name. For a moment, all was quiet. Then faintly, even farther down the hill, we heard her say, "Help! I'm stuck!" We panicked and ran up the driveway as fast as we could to go to C's parents. When we burst through the kitchen door ready to yell for her mom and dad, C was sitting at the bar eating a popsicle. "Ha! I wondered how long it was gonna take y'all to find me," she gloated. We all flipped out in the way that only 10-year-old girls can. Her parents heard us freaking out downstairs and came down to see what was going on. We told them what happened, and her dad grabbed his shotgun, got in his truck, and went to drive around the ranch, making sure there weren't anyone on the property who wasn't supposed to be there at night. He didn't find anything. I've always wondered what we heard that night. We didn't talk about it much, but I know it remained in all our minds every time we stayed over there past sundown. Does anyone know what it might have been? Especially since other people seem to have heard little girls' voices outdoors. Explanations welcome. Haters can step off though. Thanks for reading if you made it this far. Been seeing this strange creature for the last 4 years, and it seems to follow me. This is going to be pretty long, so I apologize for that. I'm trying to include as much information as I can. As far as I know, the creature has never tried harming me, but it has oftentimes made me feel unsafe and threatened. As the years have passed, I began paying less mind to it, and just putting the feeling in the back of my mind. January 2012. I bought a horse and began boarding it at a very old barn. It was a small, tight-knit, friendly barn community, not far from my home. It's been around since the 60s, surrounded by woods. There were 3 barns. The main area was entirely surrounded by thick woods, and there were small trails in the woods behind the property. Fast forward to June 2012, I had 2 horses now. I was there every single day without fail, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. I fed the horses and cared for them as well. I rode one every night as well, mainly in the area, but sometimes in the barnyard. There were no fields or arena lights, just the moon and the stars. One evening, around 5 p.m., I was sitting on her, letting her stand, when she started snorting and backing up. I looked up and saw this white-gray creature crawling out of the woods towards us. It had a very small round head. Its eyes were just pits. It had a very small mouth. Not much details there. Its arms were very long and thin, fingers also like that. Its ribcage was very pronounced and defined, and its legs were long and lanky. Its movements were very jerky, not smooth and fluid. It slowly jerked out to us, while my horse turned and bolted out of the arena. She's a dead broke, calm, well-mannered horse who never spooked before this. Stubborn old mare, but not spooky. She would not go to the back in the arena that night. I walked her around the barnyard, staying near the main barn, put her up, and ran out to peek into the arena, to find nothing except some footprints where I saw the thing. Throughout the summer, I saw it peeking, almost dancing, around the gate that led into the woods, where the trails were. One night, roughly a month later, at about 9 p.m. at night, I was riding that horse again in a front pasture. The moon was full, and was really bright as well, and I looked to my left to see that creature running full speed by my side on the other side of the fence. I slowed my horse to a stop, and it took off around the corner and behind the side barn into the woods. I continued seeing it mainly in the woods, but it was always around. Summer 2013, the barn shut down when the owner died. We moved the horses to a friend's place for the time being, and I didn't see it there. Late summer and fall of 2013, I found a new barn, woods directly behind the barn and arena. This place had lights and was much newer. About a month later, when I was getting ready to leave, I heard something in the woods. I looked down the barn aisle into the woods and saw the creature running down the road into the woods. I saw it much less frequently for a while, until later in fall 2014, I began seeing it in the back pasture's woods. It darted in and out of the tree line. I saw a second one sitting in a neighbor's yard. It would sit in the same spot every single day and watch me ride. Started taking pictures, which were very poor and crappy, and sent them to a friend who claimed he and some others have seen it as well. Kept seeing it occasionally, but from a much greater distance than at the first barn. I went with his barn owner to another farm to get some stuff when I saw a very, very large version of this creature run out from the woods, right behind a tree I was 10 feet from, while I was alone by the trailer. Last November, I house sat for the barn owners. I went out around 2 a.m. to fill water troughs and enjoy the full moon and cool night. I was sitting in the back pasture when 3 of the creatures began coming from the woods. One came up to the trees near the trough where I was. The other 2 were walking along the tree line. The horses were silently munching their hay, pretty far away from where the creatures were. I messaged the guy from earlier and told him what was going on. Since that incident, I haven't really seen them. Last summer, I did see one outside my house staring into the windows. A few weeks ago, one was outside my bedroom windows tapping and making a strange, faint, shrieking sound. This was a lot to type out, but I hope someone reads this and helps me figure out some more. I'm very open and willing to discuss more paranormal things that's happened with this, my friends' experiences with this, and anything else that could or could not be connected to this thing. An evil painting? I'm new, so don't be too mean. Years ago, when I was around 9 years old, and my friend Lisa was around 11, her parents bought a restaurant in San Francisco area. Our parents were old friends, and the 6 of us would take trips together sometimes. So all 6 of us drove up to San Francisco to see the place. It was a large, formerly popular place, steakhouse for many, many years. Mexican restaurant for a while before the new owners ran it into the ground with bad food and bad service. Had been closed for almost 2 years before our friends bought it. First day there, all 6 of us went, and the parents told us to play in the banquet room and stay out of trouble. Banquet room had a large dance floor and a long bar that took 3/4 of one wall. Behind the bar was a door to a small room and a set of stairs down to storage-type room, with a small office-type room beyond. Usual leftover bar stuff, extra chairs, bar stools, crates of dusty bar glasses, a few boxes of holiday decorations, and the like. Then, Lisa noticed a door behind the shelving, so we moved the boxes and push-pulled the shelves out of the way, opened the door, and went in. Another office-type room, and the hang lamp still had a functioning bulb. More stacked chairs, a table with old newspapers, 1971 or something like that, an old adding machine on a chair in the corner, and 4 or 5 upholstery missing bar stools lined up against the walls where the door is. On the bar stool nearest to the door was a weird painting. It was slightly larger than your standard sheet of paper, and was on some soft, thin leather or something. It was of a pretty lady dressed in blue. She had dark eyes and wavy dark hair. A bust, I guess, not a full-length picture. She had white flowers in her hair. White flower petals were falling gently around her, and she had red roses on the white piping trim of her neckline. There was something very wrong about the painting and the lady. Bad wrong. The painting itself was on the thin, soft leather, but the painting seemed to be a part of the material. Lisa pointed this out, that it wasn't stiff with paint and didn't go through to the back. It wasn't watercolor, wasn't pencils. The flowers were not flowers in her hair. They were white feathers tied in small bunches. Likewise, the falling petals were single white feathers falling. Roses in her neckline trim seemed more like specks of blood. Her smile was sinister and knowing, anticipating, calm, and waiting. I knew she had a mouthful of shiny white sharp-pointed teeth. Lisa must have thought the same thing, because Lisa said, "I think she ate an angel." We put the painting back on the same stool, and Lisa grabbed my hand and we tried to nonchalantly back out of the room so the painting spirit would not give chase. Ran to our parents to tell them about the hidden room, only to be told we mustn't tell lies. They have floor plans and know the restaurant. There is no hidden room. Eventually, they let us show them, and I'll be damned, there is another room. Yeah. Except now the painting is on a different stool. And I know we put it back on the first stool. Parents didn't even notice the painting at all. Too busy being surprised at the extra room. Fast forward 2 weeks. I'm playing at my neighbor Sylvie's house, and I was telling her about the painting. Her aunt and sister over here, and asked me if she was the Virgin of Guadalupe, and show me their Christian altar. No, I tell them, this lady was not a lady, not your lady. She was bad, evil. Are you sure? Yes, I am. I told them how the longer Lisa and I stared at her, the more we noticed. And if we had stared much longer, we would hear her laugh at us, and that would be bad. Sylvie's sister teased us about the devil will get us now. But the aunt really freaked out, and the thought of an evil Mary imposter who eats angels bothered her. She gave us a rosary. Lisa and I hadn't been to the restaurant since that first day. And the restaurant deal fell through anyways. I always wonder what the painting was about. It was very unnerving. I live alone, and I found strange blood marks in my bathroom. So as the title says, I live alone. Last night I went to sleep. Nobody was staying at my house, and I hadn't been drinking or doing anything whatsoever to impair me mentally or physically. When I woke up today, I walked into the bathroom and saw semi-fresh blood drops on my rugs. They weren't completely fresh, like it was falling off my body. I don't have cuts and I'm not bleeding from anywhere. I'm a guy, so it's not period blood. I don't have any red liquid in the house, especially not in the bathroom. It's smeared and smelled like blood. Creeped out, I checked every corner and crevice of my house for any sign of a break-in or anything abnormal. Yet nothing is out of place whatsoever. I'm now home on my lunch break from work, and the blood has dried, yet still nothing is out of place. I have no history of any paranormal activity or anything throughout my life. The only thing I ever did was play with a Ouija board nearly 3 years ago. It isn't even mine. I'm just stumped at what could have caused the blood. It's nowhere else in my apartment. I've never sleptwalked in my life, and if I started last night, there would be blood on the bed as well, but there isn't. I just don't know what to think. Also, my apologies if anything is out of place on the forum here. This is my first post on Reddit. Hell, a first post anywhere, I guess. I wanted to post this on the subreddit Creepy, not trying to spam. Still new to the website. The statue. Me and a friend found this creepy statue while hiking, and now strange things are going on. Anyone know what this is? Last weekend, my friend and I went hiking in the Catskills, near Sundown Forest, and found this really creepy statue while fucking around in some caves. It has nails in its eyes and a noose around its neck, looks like it might be old. I don't think it's been there very long, but it's weird because this cave is way, way off the trails. Someone had a fire in there too not long ago. The statue really wigged me out, but my buddy decided to take it home with him even though I told him not to. Everyone says there's devil worshippers that come out here to sacrifice animals and do their spells and shit, so I didn't want anything to do with this thing. A couple days later, my friend calls me and tells me that he thinks the statue is haunted because it keeps moving from its spot and he keeps smelling weird stuff. Says he can't sleep at night because banging keeps waking him up. Now, last night, someone knocked on his door, but no one was there when he opened it, and he's super weirded out. He thinks he has a ghost case of the statue. It might be just a coincidence, but I think he's actually scared. Before we go set thing on fire, I wanted to see if anyone knows what it is. Anyone ever see something like this or heard of a statue causing ghosts? Throwaway. Because I didn't want to use my main account for spoopy stuff. Edit. My friend showed up here at like 11:30. He's out of his mind, scared. Never seen him like this before. I'm going to do my best to remember everything he just told me because it was a lot. But long story short, he's sleeping over because something is in his house. We found the statue on Sunday, and like I said, I told him not to take it because it gave me bad vibes, but when he took it anyways, it was his decision. He's been an atheist as long as I've known him, so when he told me that something was going on, I thought he was just fucking with me, because he knows I like to watch paranormal shows, and he always makes fun of me for it. It started out just as knocks and bangings, but he said that by Wednesday, he started waking up in the middle of the night, feeling like someone was watching. This kept happening through the week, and every time he'd wake up, he would smell a really strong scent like pond water. He doesn't believe any of this stuff, so he just ignored it until a few days ago, when the statue moved from his desk into his living room. He says that every single night since Thursday, it's moved into a different room than where he left it. He thought it was his dog moving it around because it smelled funny, but his dog won't go anywhere near it. He says that she's actually peed in the house 3 nights in a row, and she's never even done that before. Last night, someone knocked on his door at 3 in the morning, but when he went to open it, there was no one there. His motion lights weren't on, and there weren't any cars in his driveway. He said that he opened up the door to look outside, and that's when he knew he made a big mistake. Like he just felt like he should not have opened his door. That's why I made this post in the first place, right? At that point, I didn't have any reason not to believe him, because it had gone way beyond a joke and he actually sounded really fucking scared on the phone. He kept telling me that he was going to burn the statue because he knows that something followed him home. Anyways, he stayed up all night and then decided to go to the movies to take his mind off of it. When he got home, he said it felt like everything was fine, and he decided to finally go to bed. This is where it gets super fucked up. He says that when he woke up, which wasn't until like 10, it was because his dog was barking like crazy. He said the pond water smell was stronger than ever, and when he went out into his hallway, he saw all these muddy footprints everywhere, not like shoe prints, but barefoot. All of his doors and windows were locked. After someone knocked on his door, he freaked out and made sure everything was friggin' locked up, so there was no friggin' way anyone could have gone inside. Sitting in the living room was the fucking statue, which had moved again. And he says that when he started to go near it, he heard something breathing like his grandpa with like a weird illness. He pieced the fuck out, and now he and his dog are sleeping in my guest room tonight. I've never seen him so scared before, and he even started crying. I don't know why. I have no friggin' idea what to do about this whole situation. I believe him because he has no reason to like just scare me on this and it's like way too far for a joke now, right? I know that everyone says not to burn it or whatever, so what the fuck do we do? He wants me to go to his house to get the statue tomorrow, but I'm too friggin' freaked out to take it back to where he found it, because I don't want to see whoever put it there.